So a large part of this channel, of this, is me being 25 and me having a quarter life crisis and figuring that this might be a good time to share some of the insights that I have gained at this juncture. Thing number one, community is important. I've always been like a slightly weird kid. I think in the latter part of life, I've come to make like really good friends, like where you're not just friends by convenience, where you're not just friends because you're in the same class, because you go to the same youth program, or whatever, like friends. And a weird part that I sort of like thought about, or like my friend pointed out to me, is actually that the fact that these people are Christian, and because of that, they're good people, and because of that, they're good friends. Obviously, like not all my friends are Christian, but it's I just have really good friends. Yeah, it's nice. I feel like it's a big thing about like finding your tribe, and people that you can be weird with, and people that accept your weirdness, and you guys can just all be like weird together, or you could be weird alone, and they can just be like, we accept you the way you are. If anything, we encourage your type of weirdness. So I feel like that's a really big thing for me at the age of 25. Friends where like you have similar interests and like long-term interests, like some of my friends, like it's like we all like want to change the world and do like impactful things like that. Some of them is just like sci-fi stuff, some of them is just like anime stuff. Like it's just so it's nice, like we can get excited over common like things. Thing number two, contracts are crazy. I say this because starting with like scholarship contracts, right? I had a scholarship. One of the really cool things in their contract, and I didn't like know this when I was like 17, 18, but is that you're not bound to them after your completion, in terms of like you don't have to work for them afterwards. And this is that sort of like one of those weird things that is like, so on one end you want like a bursary scholarship that has that thing because of the unemployment crisis, so you actually want them to employ you. And then you see companies like and whatnot in latter years, they've just been like letting people go like out of the obligation because they don't have the money to like, basically they're not taking on everyone, and that's sort of unfortunate. But at the same time, you're not, I feel like a really big thing is that you're not the same person you are when you're like graduating, when you're 25, when you're 23, whatever, compared to the person you are when you're 17 and 18 and like signing into these contracts. It is ridiculous that they do this thing. I get why they do this thing. Obviously, it's like protecting your investment. If you're going to pay 4 years of schooling for someone, you want them to work 4 years or 2 years of that back. But it's just like, what if my destiny is to like go do this other great thing and I can't go do it because I'm stuck in your contract? Like, so cool things that I've sort of like found out over time is that certain companies that really, really want you can buy you out of that contract. And then also, I guess like some things maybe you can somehow negotiate. At the end of the day, in a lot of these committees, it is humans on these committees, with hearts, and like based on sort of the circumstance, they may consider sort of just letting you out of the contract. Hey guys, sorry I'm late.
We don't leave work before the boss.
Thing number three, 8 to 5 jobs take up your whole day. 8 to 5 jobs. 8 to 5 jobs and your time. Yo, man, I did not realize how much time. Like, okay, fine. You could be there from 8 to 5. That's 40 hours a week. It just takes up so much time, like for extracurriculars, for hobbies. Now, like you have to bundle everything into the weekend and obviously, like when at home, like shops close at 5. Like when do you go to the bank if you're always at work until 5? Banks close at 3. Like it's just like we have just committed to 8 to 5 jobs for the rest of our lives. It's like, you know how long you work for? It's like 40 years if you get a job when you're 20. It's just a really long time. And I think about it in terms of like, okay, I think about in the future, like when I'm gonna be able to spend time with my kids and be this like cool movie parent. But at the same time, like right now, it's like when I wanna do the stuff I do in my spare time. Okay, apply, foster, like just extracurriculars, just relax, hang out with people. Now it's like I have to like schedule all that in between 6:30 and like a reasonable time for people to be at their homes, a reasonable time for things to close, for it to be dark because it's not safe to be out. Like even when I have a day off, now I'm just like I must rest from my full-time job as opposed to like I must take advantage of this free day and like do everything under the sun. And I guess for you as a student, I think like if you're still a student, whoever you are that is possibly not 25 yet, I think the thing that I'm sort of pointing out is that there's so much more to life than like the thing that takes up the most of your time, i.e., work or school. There are nice foods in the world that you could be trying to make. Often, like you're so caught up in like achievement or in like a promotion or like if promotions happen, you're so caught up in like whatever is the next step that you just forget to sort of live and enjoy the now and go out and like chill and like enjoy your youth while you have that time to, because it seems like the obligations just get more and more and the time gets less and less and it's just thing number 4. It's a world out there. The world is big. I think the world is big in many contexts, right? People go study in China and then they like go and they explore and they do all these cool things and it's all great. And it's just like sort of mind blowing to be in a different context, which is great. Similarly, like if you grew up in like a specific region or town, whatever, whatever, and then you move to Windhoek, it's also like, whoa, what is this whole other city? I wish there were more opportunities for exposure in terms of what's out there, in terms of the potential avenues that you can go into, that you knew those sooner. I feel cheated. Yeah, I feel cheated when I find out these things late. When we were in first year, um, I meet this guy, friend of mine, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to study actual science," and I was like, "What is actual science?" And to be honest, like I was never gonna study that thing. My math is like good, but it's not that great. I just yeah, it's not me. But the fact that I didn't know about it at all, the fact that it wasn't even options, like I'm just I'm just mad, you know? I'm just mad. I'm mad that the only things that are sort of pushed in our direction are like accounting and engineering and medicine and science and nursing and like teaching. And I didn't know about physiotherapy until like now. Well, not now, but like recently. When we were first year, this one kid was like, "Yeah, I'm moving to Harvard." And I was just like, "What?" Like, I don't know people go to Harvard. Like, I know Harvard's a school in the US. Like, I've seen it, but like in movies. But I didn't know that like an ordinary person. I mean, to be fair, they're probably like an extraordinary guy. But the fact that they could go to Harvard was just like, huh, and like I started like looking into it and like people be prepping since they were like 12 or something to get into these great schools. And I'm not saying like Harvard is like the ultimate or whatever, but there's a lot of prep into going into like these places. And it would be cool to know that early on so that you could place yourself strategically to get into the places that you want to conquer, the places that you want to envision and dream of. and even having the imagination to envision and dream of these places if you know about them, if you are initially exposed. Just the possibilities, like you could work for the UN and be like stationed in Kenya, or you could work in like you could be a CA and then like go with your country office to like Australia and the Netherlands and all these things that I was just like I just never imagined that they were possible. Another element to like the world being large 4.2 is the fact that I think I think I wish I had done it sooner, but I feel like you should sort of step out of your bubble more the younger you are. Like there should be as much exposure to different realities outside of like your normal context as you can. And I say this specifically in Namibia because of inequality and the way that like you can be very sectioned off from it. You can be very blind to it when you're younger, possibly. And I think like as you grow older, this is the time to sort of like see the reality of the situation. Like our Gini coefficient, like that measure of inequality is like 0.6. I think in Namibia, I even think we're one of the most unequal countries in the world. I need to like Google this afterwards. I don't remember, but I know it's like embarrassingly high, and it's bad. You know, it's bad that we live in such an unequal society, and it's bad that that we don't like acknowledge our privilege. Yeah, people don't acknowledge their privilege and they don't want to do anything about it. I'm talking about white privilege. I'm talking about like Oshiwambo privilege. Ah, Wambone. In general, I feel like there are 99 problems. There are a billion problems. There are a billion problems in the world. And this actually comes from like a guy I met from like Uganda, and he has like an NGO called 1 Billion Africa. But pretty much the point of like the thing that I've taken from that interaction many, many years ago is that 1 billion problems, and we should sort of all like pick one and like try and work on it the best we can. Like, I'm not saying that you must go be Nobel Prize winner, what, which is great. Actually, it would be great to have a Nobel Prize winner from Namibia. I love representation. I love, I like that thing. There's that story about this the starfish. Yeah, the starfish. Pretty much, the starfish apparently get washed to shore every morning by the sea, ocean. Yes, and then this person wakes up every morning to like throw them back into the ocean, and then someone came and was like, yeah, why are you doing this? It's so pointless. There's so many starfish. There's no way you're gonna save them all. And then like, yeah, what does it even matter? And then this rescue hero person's response was, gosh, it mattered to that one. So like dramatic stance obviously, but pretty much that for every little thing that you do, you still have like impact with that particular person. Even though it's difficult to scale impact and to do this like great international thing for everyone across the world and like world hunger problems and stuff. The fact that people are still hungry in the world, yet other people are being tax exempt for being rich. Thing number 5, you have power. And I say this as a young person. I say this because it's just the most mind-blowing thing for me when I was in school in general. I studied undergrad in SA, and like fees must fall. That thing was like, pew. The fact that it's just you as a student just mobilizing each other, just like deciding that this is a problem and we need to like get our voices heard. And these are smart people, right? Like students are smart. That's why we're in school. We like school. And writing like proper documentation things, recommendations, what, and then presenting them to policymakers, whoever's in charge. Them not being heard, them saying we need to take a stance further, like we need to protest. And obviously, like, the ends of where protest ends is a different story. But the fact that young people can be active, like as in the opposite of passive, and like demand change and go for it, you have the power. Like there's power in numbers, there's power in organizing yourselves, there's so much power in it. Psh. I mean, Christmas Falls even years ago. Now, Namibia. Now. The shut it down protest. It's like that wonderful, wonderful. Um, because the gender-based violence is out of control, and people need to, yeah, they just need to, they need to fix that thing. A bonus thing is that is a lesson. I have two bonus things actually. Number one is a lesson I learned from my mentor. Basically, she said that we are all trees, and I think it came from I was very concerned about like the way life was going, and sort of just like will I ever have it completely figured out, um, and sort of trying to balance being young and reckless, thriving in my youth, and also like having like sort of intentions and plans and being strategic about the way I want my life to pan out. Tandy like gave me the illustration of a tree and how, to be honest, you will never completely have it figured it out. And I think this is something that, because we tend to tie our lives to these milestones. When I turn 25, when I turn what, when I finish school, when I get my first job, blah, blah, blah. And to be honest, like I think I saw a tweet about this, like something about if you're taking a long train when you're 29, when you're 30, you'll probably be taking like the same long train. Not like in a negative sense. It's just that there's not a dramatic spark that happens when you hit a milestone. And in that case, we don't know where we're going. We have an idea of where we're going, but just like how a tree, imagine like the branches, and then it's like suddenly like a part like grows out that side, and then like a part grows that side, like a part, a branch. You don't know where the life is going, but we move. Hmm? The second bonus thing: find places where you are safe, places where you can breathe. Life is a lot. I made up this quote: it's tough being human, but I do it anyway. Yes, that is me. You can quote me, because yeah, who else will quote me if not me? 2020 was a really difficult year, and it's actually weird how we say like the Old Testament is not relatable, and suddenly my enemies, okay, enemies is a dramatic word, but the people that were antagonizing me this year, it was like Pharaoh, man. I just decided they were Pharaoh. Like, I say, let the people go and Oshiri. Okay, cool. So that was 7 things instead of 5 things, but 5 times 5 is 25. I'm 25. That's quick math. And ciao.